Let us be aware that while they preach the supremacy of the state, declare its omnipotence over individual man, and predict its eventual domination of all peoples on the earth, they are the focus of evil in the modern world.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
America will find you, and we will bring you to justice.
We came, we saw, we died.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or actually good evening. It is June 26th, 2023. The weather was a bit tricky today. The forecast told me it was going to be cold and windy and gray, but that was bullshit. Sun came out, ready to play, and unfortunately I had made other plans, so I did not get to enjoy the sun. That's okay though. Spent the whole weekend getting sunburnt to a crisp. Love it. Feel like a fried turkey right now, but it feels good. Get a little D on my skin, you know. This weekend might have been the most eventful weekend ever. The submarine exploded. They died. I think we all saw that coming. Damn. Wish I could have been there. Russia had a civil war and then stopped it. I don't know how that. I don't think anybody really knows what the hell happened there. We'll probably figure out in a book sometime in the next 30 years. What else? Shit's getting weird though. I mean, shit's weird every day, but shit's getting real weird this past weekend. We have, what's his name? The Hotez guy, the doctor. He's coming out challenging or talking shit about RFK, about the boy. Can't be having that. We can't be having one of America's nobles, an American royal, Robert Kennedy Jr. We can't be having somebody coming out and talking shit about him. We got to protect this guy. He's a Kennedy. You know? They could use a little protection. They like to not be alive very often. But no, he's the last of the dynasty. He's whether you agree with the Kennedys or not, you know, they're a very controversial family, but whether you agree with them or not, they were pretty damn effective for a long time. And at least they weren't all old and saggy and fat lizard people. They are a handsome group of fellas. I'll give them that. I saw the... Oh, man. I'm oozing just thinking about it. I saw the pictures and the videos of RFK out there working out on the beach. My God. I'd vote for him twice. I'd vote for him 3 times. All on the same day. Wouldn't care. Go straight to prison for it. Would not care. I'd give him all my votes. He's a handsome man. And that deep, sultry voice. You just know he smokes cigars in bed. He's a very handsome fella. Just like his daddy. And just like his uncle. Let's hope he can stay alive till 2024. Because it's looking like he might be the best option. The best candidate who can not be Joe Biden or Donald Trump. So he's got that going for him. Yeah, everybody's hung up on the whole he doesn't like vaccines or whatnot, but you know, it is what it is. That's what he believes in, so you know, let him go for it. But this whole thing on Friday, man, I went with Russia, you know, I went to sleep. It was like Friday evening or something. Woke up or Thursday evening, I don't even know, but woke up the next morning. Chat's blowing up. I had like 9 people messaging me. Do you see the Wagner group? They're turning on Putin. They're marching toward Moscow. It's a civil war. They're gonna take over. I went to the beach all day. was like, I'll deal with this later. I don't even want to pay attention to it. I'm going to the beach all day. Went to the beach for like 8 hours, right? By the time I got home, it was over. Shit was done. You know? And now, let me just point out, in the beginning, whenever Russia went into Ukraine, everybody was saying, Kiev is going to fall in 72 hours, in 3 days. Well, Russia put down, Russia beat the Wagner Group in like 42 minutes. But yet, we've been playing this game for a year and a half now in Ukraine, in the Ukraine. Yeah, that's silly. Come on, you tell me Wagner has been fighting Ukraine for a year and a half. Nobody's winning. But they couldn't hold up in Russia for more than the time it takes to say the Russian alphabet. Makes no sense. And as I said, don't nobody know what the fuck is going on. So any of your friends out there telling you, this is what happened, this is my theory, they don't fucking know. Nobody knows. To be honest, I don't think a lot of people care at this point. It was probably just a game of shells. You know, I bet the Wagner Group, the CIA, was probably like, here, Wagner's. Here, we're going to give you a bunch of money. Take all this money and then go overthrow Putin. And they were like, yeah, sure thing, buddy. They took the money and then just laughed all the way to the Swiss bank. But other than that, that's the best theory. If somebody thinks they know what's happening, please write the president, because the White House sure as fuck don't know. Everybody in Europe has no fucking clue. This was just like a Saturday morning cartoon for most people. July 4th, right around the corner. I know I talked about it a little bit not yesterday, the other day. But I can't wait. And it is a bit sad because where I'm at, unfortunately, fireworks are illegal. I know, everywhere can't be perfect. But fireworks are illegal here, so that's off the board. I think I would do like life in prison for a firecracker. Also, it's going to be pouring down rain all day, so that's going to suck too. Weather's going to be miserable. At least that's what I think, because that's what the forecast says. But as you know, it's not always true. But yeah, this is what I keep thinking every day. Like, that is literally one of my favorite holidays. It's better than Christmas for sure. Nobody, at least on July 4th, when your drunk uncle who everybody hates comes over, you can shoot him with a Roman candle. You don't have to sit there and drink eggnog and pretend to listen to his old war stories. But at least you can have a little fun. You get drunk. You probably got a pool. Everybody's got a pool somewhere on July 4th. You can do cannonballs. Yeah. You creep on that old aunt who just got divorced. She's trying to get back in shape. All right. I see you, Marietta, over there drinking your spritzers. It's always fun. Because you're outside. You're in the sun. Everybody loves that. And you're day drinking. Day drinking is the best. Especially when you're around like 50 people who you can't stand. It's like a personal decathlon of overcoming your family problems. You got to deal with all the cousins you haven't seen in years that you don't want to talk to. You got to deal with all them. You're drunk as piss. You don't care. At this point, you're just pounding back cans, trying to get through the list of them. They all look different because you haven't seen them since they were 10. And then after that, you gotta get through all the old people, your grandma's sisters, the cousins of your grandparents who you have no idea who they are, but they still talk to you like you used to come over for dinner every night 32 years ago. So you gotta get through them. And then before you know it, there comes the drunk uncle. Next is the drunk aunt. They just got divorced. So that's like a two-headed hydra right there that you gotta defeat. And then after that, you're probably drunk enough to get in a fight with your own parents because God knows they drug you here and you don't want to be there. But you got to do it for your mother, so she'll leave you alone until the next holiday. But it's fun. It's fun, You just pound back cans. Obviously not of Bud Light because America ain't about that bullshit. It's gotta be a man's beer, you know. It's gotta be White Claws. Yeah, I think White Claw should go out and sponsor July 4th this year. That'd be great. They could rebrand, rebuild, become the man's, health drink. I think we should mix July 4th. I know I expressed my new idea of mixing all the American holidays into a month-long celebration. But you know what? I say include Cinco de Mayo. Include Cinco de Mayo. I want Cinco de Mayo and July 4th to be the same day. July de Mayo or Cinco de Julio. And you bring all your Mexican neighbors. You bring all the Mexicans from work, all your Mexican neighbors. They all have families with like 72 cousins. So you bring all them, everybody gets together. Have a little barbecue, a little carne asada, do the whole thing, get everybody drunk, and at some point, your racist uncles are not going to know that there's Mexicans even there. They're not even going to hear the Spanish. They're just going to hear the sound of freedom and happiness. All right? Freedom and happiness. That's what it's going to be. Cinco de Julio. And then the Mexicans, they're all of a sudden, they're perfect English. They're just going to get drunk enough to start speaking perfect English. Your recently divorced aunt is definitely getting knocked up. So, that adds 3 more cousins to the next year's celebration. But overall, it'll be a good idea. It'll stop racism. It'll create a bond between our Southern brothers and ourselves. I think it's a great idea. The music will be a lot better. Nobody wants to listen to Garth Brooks and the Zach Bryan band or whatever the fuck they're called. Nobody wants to listen to that bullshit all day. It gets old. We want to listen to some mariachi, to some dun, 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 get a little groovy. And there's always going to be that one drunken Tio who just busts out in the most beautiful, soulful, like ranchero song you've ever heard sung by a drunk man. Now, I'm telling you, that's how your recently divorced aunt's going to get knocked up. But then, it's going to be great. Cinco de Julio. That's the new one. That's going to be right dead center of our month-long festivities. And then, so I can't wait. July 4th. I'm just going to sit here in the Netherlands with my American flag wrapped around me, crying, yearning for freedom. Because, there's not much of that going around these parts. I got a couple of friends I might hang out with, non-Americans, of course. God. Might try to get them a little tipsy. Maybe sit them down and drunkenly sing the Star-Spangled Banner at them. Just scream at them in freedom cries. Start cawing like a bald eagle in their face. And then when they try to get up and leave, just say, "Yeah, you don't like America? Is that what you're saying?" They're not a very prideful country here, a patriotic country. They're not very patriotic here. They don't have a reason to be. Half the people here are not from the Netherlands. They're first-generation immigrants. The other half don't give a damn. They're too busy drinking nasty-ass beer and eating pickled fish, but they don't care. And to be honest, I always assumed, I still think this, but I also always assumed that the Netherlands and America were just one country. I mean, essentially, they are just a vassal state of our great empire. They did create us. They did found us. Many people think it was the British. It wasn't. It was the Dutch. The Dutch created it all. I think they gave, the $24 worth of beads to the Indians to get Manhattan. Created the greatest metropolis man has ever known. Created Wall Street, created the financial institutions that now we are trying to break down and destroy. They created it all. The British came in, swept everything up, and took the leftovers, but it was the Dutch. And I think ever since the war, the Great War, the second one, round two, the Dutch have just been a extension of Washington, D.C. They don't like to admit that, but it's the truth. And if you tell them that to their face here on the streets, whoo, get ready. Imagine a angry, crooked-toothed Dutchman yelling at you with pickled fish in his breath. That right there is enough to get you to walk away from that argument. So they win every time. It's an impossible stance to take in front of a man like that. But yeah, they're not very patriotic about their own country, let alone an arrogant American, such as myself, walking down the beach with a 15-foot flagpole with Old Glory waving. They don't like that. They do not like that. A couple years ago, I had a little bit of a fiasco on the beach. Some fellows got angry at me for waving the old red, white, and blue. The wrong red, white, and blue. The Dutch also have a red, white, and blue flag, but the wrong one, the one with the stars. They got angry at me, and I had to, again, drunkenly stand my ground. That was pretty difficult because I could barely stand, but I had to argue my point, argue my place, and remind them that if it was not for us, they would not be here. Go USA. But they have this theory that it was the Canadians. During the war, they say, the Americans did not save us. The Canadians did. And anyone who knows me or has listened to any other episode of this podcast knows that I have a deep-seated resentment towards Canadians, towards those strange fellows up north. So yeah, for them to tell me that it wasn't America that saved their ass, it was the Canadians, whew, that fired me up. So I spoke my words. I recall speaking my words. What the police say was that I just kind of mumbled, and then I pissed off the pier. But whatever, they have their recount of the events. I have my own. I have my memories. They have their facts. It's what it is. But that was the last time that I wove an American flag proudly in this country. And by God, I'm doing it again this year. I don't care if it's pouring down rain or not. I will go out there and let that Star-Spangled Banner wave. Until then, I'm going to try to hope the weather gets a little better. Because, yeah, it's summertime. It's my God-given right to get sunburned, to peel, to start peeling. They don't even know what... These people here, they're so crazy. They don't see the sun but like 9 days out of the year. So the 9 days where the sun comes out, they all just migrate to the beach. And they just lay there and just get so red. So red. It's hilarious how red these people get. At least in America, in the South, we're allowed to get used to it. Early April, you're already getting a nice base coat. And by the end of September, you're dark, you're tan. No, not these people. And it's not 9 days in a row either. It's like there'll be 2 days in May where it's just hot as fuck and the sun's just beating. And then there'll be like 4 days in July. And then there'll be another 3 days at the end of the month. And then like 2 days in September. So they have no time here to get used to it. They just go out and get burnt 12 times every year. And it's fucking hilarious because they look like the pickled herring that they eat so much. Just the whole people. They look like white, gooey, pickled pieces of flesh. But, yeah. That's my plans until July 4th. I really wish that I could be there to celebrate in proper fashion. But I'll do the best I can here, and I will hold it down for the good old US of A. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.